Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be focused on building a terrarium. I take inspiration from all kinds of people when building these terrariums. People like Tanner with Serpa Design, MD Fish Tanks, and somebody new, Worcester Terrariums. As you can see, I built all kinds of terrariums.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page.
Today we're going to be building another terrarium. So with that, let's get into this video and get out and pick up some plants.
Gotta focus on yourself, on your faith.
So what we're going to start with is this Target greenhouse displayer. And just so you know, this thing went completely viral back around Christmas because people were posting TikToks about this thing. And in fact, if you look on the screen right now, I mean, you can search Target greenhouse on TikTok and this thing has thousands of videos. People were building all kinds of Christmas-based display setups in this thing. Well, that's not what we're gonna do. We are actually going to be, well, setting up a full-on terrarium, bioactive breeding terrarium in this little box. So stay tuned and let's get into this. We already know that we got to use this box here. Now, before we can use that, well, we're gonna have to go ahead and clean it. What I like to use on plastics is regular Blue Dawn dish soap because it takes all the oils and everything off. Let's go ahead and clean this thing. All right, well, it's completely clean, opened up, everything is good and ready to go. So let's talk about some of the components that are gonna go into this. We're gonna be using a magnolia pod. I mean, this thing's pretty massive, but we'll find a smaller one. Use a little bit of cork, some sphagnum moss, as well as some coconut coir. We're gonna be using some sheet moss as well. This is dried sheet moss, but that's okay. It's gonna look very, very good in here once it's wet. It may actually come back too. I don't think that it'll come back, but we'll see. We're gonna be using some leaf litter, maybe some cypress mulch, some pea gravel, and things of that nature. And then we have a whole bunch of live plants. Now granted, we're not gonna be able to use these entire plants because it would take up our entire terrarium. So we're actually going to take remnants of these plants and grow them out in this terrarium. We're gonna be using some moss as well. Then we have this entire bucket of remnants, sticks, rocks, all kinds of things, some dragonstone in here, all kinds of things in here, and we'll pick and choose kind of small little elements that we may need in this thing today.
Yeah.
So if you need any terrarium tools, make sure you visit freshwaterscrub.com and use the code terrarium for 10% off of your order.
Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thought.
What we have here is a small tub of water, and this water consists of water from a fish tank. It has nitrates in it, which is essential for the growth of plants, so it's very nutritious water for these plants. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and mix up a terrarium mix. So now that we have our terrarium mix ready, I'm gonna squeeze some of this excess water out just a little bit, and we're gonna start putting it into the bottom right on top of this black weed barrier. And then we're gonna take this and we're gonna push it up into the edges, all the way up. We want this black felt to be fully pressed against the sides of this acrylic. All right, so now that we have our drainage layer set up, we are ready to go ahead and start looking at hardscape for this particular setup. I want to integrate this piece of cork in some manner. I don't know that I'm gonna use the whole thing. I may use half of it. In fact, I'm gonna split this and we'll use some like this, because we want this to be our hide for our isopods. So they'll get up underneath here and they will actually stay up underneath this most of the time. In fact, if you take a look right here, you can see in my DIY plastic bin terrarium setup, they are all up underneath the cork. So in the meantime, we're gonna have this go sit in some water and soak up some water to stay wet. So like I said with the plants, we're not gonna use the whole plant. We have one little piece of this rabbit's foot fern, same with this piece of ivy, and as well as the rest of these plants.
Hey, I got something to say. I'm just so sick of hearing everyone complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hitting bottom is the only way to change. So I'll keep hustling, you keep struggling. I'm humbling, keep mumbling, I'll keep doubling, you keep bluffing, you've got nothing, I'll keep hustling. I've seen a lot of people who don't know what work is. I've seen a lot of people who don't know what thirst is. I've had a taste of evil and tried to cure the sickness.
Well, it's time to add these finishing touches to this terrarium, and I want to add this piece of wood just to make it easy for these little isopods to get up into this kind of second level, and we'll tuck this right here up underneath this pony's foot. I'm going to add some gravel around it just to give it a more naturalistic look. I also want to add some of this cypress mulch over here in this side where there's just kind of nothing. It's just dirt, which I think it'll give it a nice little look. And now just give this thing a nice spray down. The only thing left is to add these isopods. Alright guys, well I wanted to show you the growth on this terrarium in just a few days. I've had this thing put together for 4 or 5 days, and if you notice, Pony's foot is growing like crazy. That's this right up here, which was like the big mat. I actually pulled that right out from between a crack in my sidewalk. And then right over here we have this little ivy that's doing really well, but overall everything in here is doing fantastic. Right here in this corner, this piece of moss is actually a piece of Christmas moss, which is actually aquatic moss. I've had people tell me that it will not grow in a terrestrial area, but that thing is actually growing. And if you notice the moss that is up in these cracks and crevices, you can tell that this is growing really well, but everything in here is looking fantastic. Everything is doing well. I don't see any of the isopods at the moment, but that's not unexpected. They don't like to come out during the day, and they're probably up hiding behind our big piece of cork here. If I pulled this away, we'd probably see all kinds of them come out, but I'm not gonna mess with them. But overall, this thing looks so good. I'm so happy with the way it turned out. So you guys have to let me know in the comments, what do you think about this terrarium? Do you like how it turned out? Do you think I should do more of them? What are your thoughts? So make sure you drop a comment. One thing for sure is I have another one of these little greenhouses, and I plan on doing another build in an upcoming video very soon. So I'm actually gonna take one of these boxes and turn it into a shrimp tank. So you're not gonna wanna miss that. Make sure you stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Just wanted to stop real quick and show you this terrarium as well. This was the Halloween terrarium that you guys saw in the beginning of this video. Now, of course, I have taken out all of our Halloween type decorations and have just left it plants, but this thing is doing really well also, and we've got a lot of new growth in here with the pony's foot. We have all of our plants are still doing really well in here. Everything looks great. If you are in need of Christmas moss or any other type of plant, we have frogbit, hornwort, we have some Rotala rotundifolia back there. We have Jungle Val. I mean, these are not our plants that we sell. These are just in Clown Puke's tank. Yes, that's Clown Puke. I know, it's fantastic. One of my subscribers named him Clown Puke, and I happen to like it, so we stuck with it. But if you happen to need any of these plants, Christmas moss, need terrarium tools, or some Christopher Scott merch, whatever it may be, make sure you visit freshwaterscrub.com, and if you use the code Terrarium, you can get 10% off your entire order. So make sure you go visit freshwaterscrub.com. We got a bunch of cool videos coming up really soon, guys, so make sure that you are subscribed, make sure that you have your notification bell on, as well as follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Links to both are down in the description. But thanks for everybody that's been placing orders for plants. We are selling selling out of plants every single week. So I really am truly grateful, guys. Thank you so very much. Hopefully you went on to enjoy this video. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. We've changed it up a little bit with our editing style and the way we're doing these videos. So make sure you let me know. You can contact me via the comments, email, phone, DM on Instagram, Facebook Messenger. There's all kinds of ways to contact me down below with any kind of feedback that you have, positive, negative. I am always about constructive criticism, so please make sure you reach out and let me know what you think of the videos. With that, guys, we'll see you next time.